Check this.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's time for Be Encouraged, and I know you're going to be encouraged today. You know, we do this thing live, and with all its hiccups and everything else, getting started a little late this morning. I was the chauffeur to high school this morning, getting people there and getting people here. So we are going to start a little shy, a little bitty of a late go this morning. My man Tura Arsala already up this morning, chiming in. Good morning to you, Tura. We appreciate you. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, just since he got back in his chair. It is the man, the myth, the legend, TSC. That means the Success Chronicles. It's Chip Baker. What's up, Chip?
What's going on, my man? Sorry, I had to disappear right quick.
No, that's good. That's good. I can see you. So
yeah,
I can see down in that little corner. So I say, he's not there. Let me pad a little bit more before he rolls back in. I thought maybe it was one of those things. I don't know if you watched the Graham Norton show, but I was like, it's the red chair. Somebody dumped him.
Yeah. No, I didn't get quite dumped this morning, but I'm here.
No. Okay,
I'm ready, man. Thank you so much for having me.
It is awesome to have you. In the background behind my big head, you see that book, The Impact of Influence. We've had Chip on, and we've talked about that book. Number 2 is out. It's out, right? It's not even. It's out. So
hang on one second.
Show us the number 2. I got to see number 2.
So,
I don't know what you should call it.
Since you are such a great supporter, and
Indeed.
Since you always rock with us, I got on this morning and I saw that book in the background.
Yes, sir.
I'll hit you with this one today.
There it is.
Bam!
Volume 2. You see that, folks?
Volume 2.
Volume 2. Written by Chip Baker, co-authored by how many powerful influencers?
18 guys.
How many of you guys? How many duplicates? I know our man Derek Pearson's in there.
Yeah, Coach DP's in there.
We
had Charles Woods, Darius Bradley, Dr. B. Patrick Glenn, Anthony McCauley is a repeat, Lorenzo Lewis, and Victor Pisano. They are all repeat guys. And so
that leaves like 10 new authors, right?
Yes. And I just got the hard book in the mail yesterday.
Nice.
So the authors hadn't even seen the hard.
So you about to sign that and send that back out to me, right?
Yes, indeed. I mean, that was the plan, right?
Well, so when did you start doing number 2 before you released number 1? Or did you release number 1 and I already know that number 1 had an incredible amount of people were so excited about it and it was very successful.
Yes.
And is that what prompted you to do number 2, or did you already have number 2 in the works because you already saw?
No, I didn't have 2 in the works when we dropped number 1.
Okay.
I'm a be in the moment guy, you know.
Yeah.
Number 1, the book is The Impact of Influence, and little did we know that experience of dropping that book would impact and influence us in such a manner. And so it was so amazing that I had to do a volume 2. Just the run of dropping the first book. We hit number 1 in 11 categories on Amazon, a bestseller. Did the book tour, and it was amazing. The support that we had and that we're continuing to have. I'm truly appreciative, and it's been great.
The question I got now is, when is Trey dropping? when it's trade dropping, you know? Because really, if you think about it, the way it's set up, the way you've done it is ingenious, Chip. And I know other people in the past have done this kind of conglomeration of authors. Chicken Soup for the Soul, you know, that was one of the big ones. All these different authors had all kind of stories in that book. But this is definitely a different, obviously, but it's definitely the impact of influence, not so much, oh, cute. You know, it's telling you real life stories people have from their being. But there's so many people with so many stories out there. You could make this an ongoing series. Drop Deuce, Trey Cumming, Quattro, you know, and just keep rocking them, man. I mean, because you can continue to have, because I know you come across people every day that you think to yourself, man, they tell you a story and you say, can you put that on paper, man? I know that you already have them on your Success Chronicles show, you know.
Yes.
But, you know, those people you had on those shows too, you could have them draw that out and put a little bit more detail into a story and put it into the next book. And it just the impact of influence become one of those sets people have on their shelves, man.
Like the old school encyclopedias.
Exactly.
The number 1, 2.
It means more in life to have that than it does the encyclopedia.
There you go.
Who cares about how?
Yeah, you know what's cool is, like you said, that's kind of really how it started. You know, I'm connected with a guy that, you know, has a publishing group, a Sugar Ray Destin of Business of Books Mastermind, and you know, I connected with him, and I spoke, like he was a part of a men's group, and I spoke to their group, and we, you know, established a relationship. And he was like, "Man, you're connected to some great people. You ever thought about bringing some of those people together and putting it on the book?" I was like, "Man, that's an awesome idea right there. Yes, let's do that." And so that's kind of where the concept came about. And like you said, yes, I am looking into others. And, you know, just like I showed you the second volume, you're the first to see it. I'm going to tell you this secret too. I am doing the 3, and it's going to be all ladies.
Oh, so, cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, really excited about that. So,
you know, and I'll, you know, maybe not though. I was about to say, and you know what you need to do? Either make it black or white, the cover, and have the letters in pink. But you know what? That's just being, never mind. I changed my mind on that. I mean, I like the idea, but I don't want anybody to be offended. Why are you doing pink? Because it's ladies.
No. Well, you know, what's funny is that we already have the cover, and that is going to be the cover. Because you called it, brother. The cover is going to be white with pink writing. You called it. Man. That's it.
You know, great minds think alike, Chip.
Yes,
so, you know, I mean, listen, there's so many things in my life, man, that I've done, and so many things that I've thought about doing, but never had the ability to go forward with them for various reasons, either my own holdback, or because, you know, didn't have the fundage to do it, or I couldn't get somebody else to see the same vision as clearly as I could see it. And I still have those, you know, I still have those over here. And if something comes along, if I can make this work with More Joy Media and getting guys like superstars like Chip Baker and DP on here with me and talking about stuff and getting that audience, and we get some revenue going so that I can start to do some of those other things. Like one of the things you speaking right now about, and this is turning into a Lee Bailey interview, but anyway, you talk about making the next book all women writers.
Yes.
I want to do a show. I want to come up with a network that covers just women's sports, and I want it to be you know, and because there's no one doing that.
No,
you know, they're doing it now because they have to. You know what I mean? ESPN's putting on women's sports, and I'm not going to rank on them. Maybe they're doing it because they want to, but it seems like it's because of the pressure for them to do that. You know, and I don't want to do it because of pressure. I want to do it because I love women's sports. Yeah. I love women's soccer. I love women's football. The Divas here in Washington.
Yeah.
There's one of your writers. I got a writer for you right there. One of the Divas is an incredible young lady who has been through. I mean, she's awesome, man.
Let's get it.
I will. I'll hook
Connect
you
me
up,
with her.
and you need to have her on the Success Chronicles too.
Yes.
She is dynamic. She's beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and she is a football player. You know, you see her and she looks so demure and so pretty and sweet. Boy, you watch her on that football, she's tearing people up, and it's like that's not the same person I was just talking to before that. I was thinking about, ooh, I like her hug and all that kind of, watch her knock the teeth out of that other girl.
That's awesome, man.
It is awesome, man. It's fantastic. And that's becoming more also. People are starting to really gravitate to that because it's fun to watch people. It's like you've already have in your Impact of Influence books. It's interesting and good to read the stories of people who are passionate, who have a passion behind their story. Like these girls who play football, baseball, softball, traditionally women's sports also, but they're so passionate about what they do. Basketball, man, I remember back in the day, girls who played basketball were fit and they were cute and all that kind of stuff, and they could hit, and they still are fit and cute, but they bang.
Yeah, y'all serious now.
Bam, they're under the boards. And that's one
serious.
I think also the WNBA is starting to become so much more popular. You know what I mean? Is because you go to watch it, it's physical. These girls are passionate, and that's the key, passion. That's why in radio, like this kind of thing, you want to watch people who are passionate about what they do. You don't really want to watch milquetoast. It's like, okay, that's good information, I guess, but you want somebody who's serious. I mean, I watch you talk to these kids. Tell me a little bit about that. What was the last time you just recently were at a school? I saw some posts talking to some young people. That's what you do.
Yes.
And I want to know a little bit about more. What is it you say to these guys?
Well, I just put myself in their shoes. I remember being a young athlete, and like I tell them, I was always excited when people came in to talk to us, because I knew that they'd give me an opportunity to learn from some people that have achieved some things that I want to achieve in my life. Yes. So, I'd be curious to know, like, how'd you get to that level? And so for me being there, I strive to bring them my A game because of that. I want them to have something that they can take from the experience with me and like use it and apply it in their life to help them be better. And so, I touch on lots of different things, mindset, awareness, the proper actions to take, making good choices, surrounding yourself with the right people, all of those things that I was going to say the kids need to hear, but I think we all need to hear that.
Hello.
It don't matter who you are, right?
Right.
I think we all need to hear that. And so those are some of the things that I touch base on.
That's awesome. And I think these kids need that. I always see the other side of stuff. I always think about, like you just said, I put myself in those kids' places. And when you said, I used to always love when someone come talk to us, and then you said the right thing. You said, my thing was, we don't have to practice. Guy comes to talk. Oh, good. We don't got to practice. We can go and just sit down and relax.
Get away from practice.
That was my mind frame. That's why I'm not a professional athlete right now, because that was why I was going to, we got somebody to talk to us. That means I don't got to run up and down the field. Cool. And of course you get something out of it anyway, totally. But yeah, my first thing when I was that age wasn't about, oh, good, I can learn something from these guys. No, it was like, oh, I don't have to do practice today for an hour. That's good.
That's awesome, man.
It's terrible, isn't it? I'm terrible, boy. Golly.
Terrible.
But a lot of us were, we were like going, oh, cool. Coach said we got someone to listen to. We ain't got to go to practice.
That's awesome.
All right, because it's hot outside. We don't need these 2-a-days today. But because that was one of the reasons why, that was one of those things. People wanted to do football, they wanted to do soccer, they wanted to do sports, all that kind of stuff. Those practices are grueling, man. And that's the part you got to get through. They're brutal, but it gets you in a place where you need to be.
Yeah.
Mindset wise, like you just said.
Yeah.
It gets you in a place where you need to be listening, where you're listening, you're paying attention.
Right.
And people are giving you real life world lessons. You know, there's too many. I think it's different. I think it's becoming better now. But you remember the Michael Irvins, the guys who, when they first came in the league, I was just been watching Darryl Strawberry's and Doc Gooden's when because they were just kids, man, when they came into the league, and they got involved in all kind of stuff they shouldn't have been involved in. And I think kids are wiser now coming out of college. I think when they go to college, they're a little bit wild, but they start to calm down and get serious. And then they get people who, like yourself and others, who come and talk to them, and Michael Irvin and Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry, who come and say, hey, learn from me. Don't do as I did, do as I say, because I'm going to tell you, I was this close to going to prison, you know, and some of them did go to jail and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes I think to myself, I bet you that person, when they first got busted, it would have been better for them to go to jail, you know, for them to wake up and go, oh crap, you know, I've got a talent that not very many other people in this world have, and it can get me a long way. I need to step up, you know. And I know that that's the message I've heard from guys like Michael Irvin, guys like Lawrence Taylor, and things like that, that they've said, you know, hey, I made a mistake, and it could have ruined my life. And happily, someone's looking out for me because it didn't, but easily could have. And there's so many stories that we know, right, Chip, of people whose lives were ruined.
Yes.
People whose lives were cut short to being an athlete. And they had everything that they needed, and yet they didn't have anybody coming alongside of them, which is one of the big issues now with not having dads in the house and just having moms, and mom's got 4 other kids to take care of, and she got 2 full-time jobs, and she just doesn't have that time. As hard as they work and try, they don't have that time. So what kind of mentor stuff do you do, Chip? Or like, you do any one-on-one mentoring with anybody?
Yeah, so, you know, with my job, I'm currently the climate and culture coach on my campus.
Right.
And so, you know, in my job title and what I do, that's kind of the makeup of my job, you know, one-on-ones, groups, speak to kids, help teachers any way I can, help administration, you know, discipline areas. But yes, I mean, just hearing you talk about those things, it made me reflect on, you know, my experience growing up. And, you know, I grew up with a single parent mother. Father was in my life, but just in a different city. But I mean, you can't get your kids around enough positive people. You know, like just when you said that, it made me reflect on my son. You know, so like my son has both parents in the house. My son has been around amazing people in the communities and neighborhoods that he's grown up in. My son is in the church, like he's taken to church by his father. You know, I know several of his coaches because I coach them, and I know they're great men. But you still, like, I still can't get enough positive role models and people around my son. You know, so I just, like, I took it from a personal aspect, but then when you look at just anyone, you can't have enough positivity
and love. And, you know, that's
come on.
The love is the big one. You know what I mean?
Sir.
We know that from DP with his love prints and everything like that. But really, you know, I grew up in the church too, you know, and I had, my friends were church kids. And boy, I want to tell you, we got ourselves in some trouble. I mean, you know, it's not like just because you go to church doesn't mean you're getting out of trouble.
That don't mean you don't do unholy things.
Hello. And so, you know, we did a lot of stuff we shouldn't have been doing, you know, but none of it was criminal. You know, I mean, I guess some of it could have been. I know that I could have gotten in a lot of trouble at times, and I luckily had a police officer live next door to me who was one of our very, very good friends. He got me out of a couple of scrapes that I got into of my own stupidity. And I've got stories about that. Oh man, Roger Sims, he's passed away from Lou Gehrig's, but he I mean, I learned how to drive from him. That's why I got so many damn tickets. You know, that I'm not kidding. I mean, I used to ride with him all the time when I was young because he would take me and help me to clear his dad's tennis courts, and because he came from an affluent life, and but his dad kept him in check big time.
Mm-hmm.
But he became a police officer, which we know is not what you'd call an executive level position.
Right.
But he liked serving his community, but he used to take me to his dad's, to mow his dad's lawn, to lime the damn clay tennis court over in McLean. And
yeah,
I mean, but I was always with him. So man, driving, like we would go to the Capitol Center to watch the Caps. He would drive the long line of people waiting to get off on the exit, on the shoulder. There's this long line. He would scoot all the way to the front and whoop, pop in the top. And because he'd say, "Oh, there's always an opening at the front, so we'll find it." And we would drive past all those people waiting, and I used to think to myself, "Dog, man." And then one time we did get pulled over because they had a cop standing up at that front, just for that reason. People cutting in, and he pointed at the car and he pulled us over, and Roger pulled out and he said, "Let me get my license." And he opened his badge and all that crap. And the cop said, "Oh, hey, man, have a good day." Let's go. So I was like, man, I want to be a cop.
Yeah. All the benefits, huh?
Right. And he was a good man. He really was. He was a coach too, taught Little League baseball, all that kind of stuff. I really think I was probably one of the only people that saw that side of him. You know what I mean? Mostly because he was always getting old. I mean, and that was like maybe one of his vices that he did. He would cut into traffic, and that's about it. He didn't do other stuff. He didn't, and there's lots of those guys, but he also was an exceptional mentor to me as far as getting serious about stuff, and telling me and giving me pointer and giving me, direction of, don't do as I do, Lee, do as I say, and this is what you need to do. I mean, yeah, it's a little ubiquitous there, but he did make an impact on my life, and he's a hard ass worker. I helped him build 2 houses, and the dude did it all by himself. I mean, I learned a lot from him. Not all good necessarily, but these are the kind of men we need. People who have, and for the most part, good ethics and morals. That are especially that work ethic. That work ethic is so important for people to have. It's important. It's something people need to have. These young men and women and girls need to see this, need to understand that. And I think it's so great what you're doing in the school system. I told you that the last time when we talked, and you told me what you're doing. I was like, because I used to, I worked security, but I felt like that's what I was doing.
That's what you were doing.
Yeah. That's exactly. I wasn't like Mr. I mean, there's so many security guys I see walking around that are ex-cops, and they're all angry every minute of every day. I remember going to do AED class, and we're sitting in there, and I had to get in on a certain class, so I went in with all the security guys who are the drive around security for schools, school security guys, and a lot of them cop wannabes and all that kind of stuff, police officer, a lot of those. And we're sitting in there, and the lady said, "So if you come across somebody who's laid out, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I immediately grab a kid and I tell him to go get the administrator." Right. And this guy next to me goes, "Man, I wouldn't trust a stupid kid for anything."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, dude, what? I mean, he was.
He could save your life.
That's what I'm saying, man. A kid sure could, But anyway, I just grab a kid and tell him run to because they would. Any kid, if I grabbed any kid in that school and said, "Hey, run to the administration. If somebody's down, tell them to call 911," they would take off. Nowadays, they got their phones. I just tell them, "Hey, call 911," on their own phone. But, I mean, but this guy was so jaded and I was just like, dude, you're in the wrong line of business, pal. You're supposed to be working with kids, and this is not something you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to hate kids. Good Lord. No. So there's so many of them, though, in security. You know this, Chip.
Yeah.
You met them. You know that's the way. And that's why they get called what they get called by the kids, because the kids know which ones are good and which ones are not good. And, it's not good for kids to be scared of you. It's good for them to respect you.
You have to build that relationship. When you take time to build a relationship, like those great things happen. You can give them a healthy dose of accountability as well as love. And you can give them that equal amount, and we all need that.
That's right. And listen, kids got in trouble. They get themselves in trouble, and I'm the one that had to bring down the hammer on them, because that's my job. But, I never had kids. I tell them, I said, or kid might say, "Oh, you got Davey in trouble." I said, "You ask Davey if I got him in trouble."
No, Davey, no.
Davey got his own butt in trouble. And the kids are like, "Well, it's like, no, but it's like, no, you go ask Davey, because anybody who did get in trouble got to talk. We talked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't think maybe one time I ever lost my cool, and that was, we had a kid, an MS kid, who was just so nasty, and I had to break bad on. I remember one of the counselors came out and looked out in the hall and went, on one of the assistant principals, "Everything okay, Mr. Bailey?" I said, "Oh, everything's okay."
"Oh yeah, we good."
Yeah. "Oh yeah, we're good." And she's like, "Okay." She went back in her office, because I got loud, boy. I got loud with him because he was disrespecting me like crazy. And that's the only time, though. I normally do not jump my feelings into. I want to be as peaceful and loving as I can to kids. But you know what, man? You've met those kids. I don't know what's wrong. It happens, and unfortunately, we got kids that we come across in the school system who, for whatever reason, didn't just switch the switch, and it's something they need some seriously in-depth counseling to turn it around. And I've run into a few of them like that.
It's good too at a school system where you can have all things in the continuum of services to help kids.
Yes.
And so, when you're
I think I told you we had a school psychologist, and a lot of times I took kids straight to him.
Exactly.
I didn't even go to their counselor. I went straight to the school psychologist, and he would come and give me a slight report, because he can't divulge all the information, and I never needed any. I didn't care. I just knew that he would take care of them. And so I just dropped him off, and then I might say, "How's Susie?" And he would say, like, "Not good, but she's,"
check on her.
I sent her. We had to send her to Woodburn. I called her mom, and she went to Woodburn, is the psychiatric system. She's struggling, Lee. I'm glad you brought her to me, because something else could have happened if somebody hadn't come along and seen that look in her eye. Like you do, Chip, every day in school. You see somebody walking down the hall with their head down, and you can tell by the way they walk in their hole. You can see the pain. You can see that pain, and it's like, God, what do I do with this person? That's what I do. I ask right up, "What do you do?" And I get immediate answers. And I grab, hey, what's up? "Oh, nothing, Mr. Bailey." Nothing.
Okay.
No, something. You need to go. Let's go talk to somebody. "Oh, I don't think I need to do that, Mr. Bailey. Will you trust me on that?" "All right." And sure enough, they go in there. They've been there for 2 hours talking to him. It's because they're carrying a whole sack load of stuff that they shouldn't have to be carrying. Anyway, we are at Chip. We got to have you on more regular. Like, we need to pick a day and have you on the regular, because you and I can talk about kids. That's one of the things we can talk about, man. Talk about young people.
Oh yeah.
How we can, and maybe impart some of our experience. Not that we're trying to tell parents how to be parents, but we're trying to tell parents how to be parents.
Come on. I hear you.
And that's not to say that I'm the best parent. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, man, God bless them. Those parents need love too. And believe me, how many times have you had a parent come in, sit down across from you, and you knew they're about to lose it?
Oh my gosh.
They're just don't know what to do. They come in and go, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
But and again, just like I said too, with the the kids having all things in the continuum of services. It's great when you can be in a situation where you have resources for parents too, because
yes, sir.
You know, none of us are perfect. We're all just doing the best we can with what we have, you know. And there's going to be some times where, you know, as a parent, you tell your kid, "Hey, this," and your kid hears it all the time, right? And they just don't do it. But then a coach,
all they hear is that,
yeah, or a resource officer or somebody comes and tells them the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Oh yeah, like man,
right.
I've been telling you that for years."
Listen, I used to do sales, right, Chip?
Yeah.
And we would have a customer, and it didn't matter when if I started with a customer, there was no way I'm gonna sell them that car.
Yeah.
But I can get them interested in it, and then I turn them over to somebody that pushes them over the top. It's the same thing when you're talking about working with kids. You can bring them in, they can like you and all that kind of stuff, but then they just get to the point where they're like, "Going, this is just you, Mr. Bailey. You're the only one that feels this way. Let me hook you over to Mr. Baker. And he'll take care of you from here." And then they're like, "Dang, that guy's thinking just like Mr. Bailey."
Yes.
Wow, there is more than one person that cares about me in this school.
Yes, sir.
Because I've had that. I've had kids tell me that. "You're the only one that cares, Mr. Bailey. You're the only one that loves us." No, I'm not. There's a ton of us, you know. And that's when you chitch them over to somebody else who can say, "I love you too." You know, that's important. Anyway, man, Chip, I love
that's all they need to know.
Yes, sir. That's correct. That's the biggest thing we need to impart to them, that they're loved. You know, it's not just their parents, because a lot of times they know their parents love them, but they think that's the only person that loves them. Nah. You know, I want my classmates to love me. Well, I can't control that.
Yes.
You know, I can't control that, but I know I love you. So when you come in here, I mean, go to class, but between class or at lunch, dude, I mean, I was the in-school suspension guy, and I had this big room, and at lunchtime, I had 6 or 7 kids came in and had lunch with me.
I know, right?
You know?
Isn't it crazy how that happens? Like,
yeah, but you know, it's so funny because I'm smiling. Yeah, go ahead.
It's like, you know, you're the discipline, like the in-school suspension, but then when they're not in there, like they keep coming back. Like, man, you're not supposed to be in here.
Right. And how many times are they going, "Hey, Mr. Bailey," I've had a kid say this to me. They see me in the morning where I station myself when people are coming in, you know, in the morning and stuff like that. Yeah. Mr. Bailey, I am not about school today. I'm gonna get in trouble so I can come to in-school suspension. I'm like, you better not. I said, you better not. I'm gonna send you straight to hell home, and you know your mom's not gonna like that. And they're like going, "All right, well, so you can come by and see me at lunch, man, but don't be getting in trouble, man. Be listening, do what you're supposed to do the right thing, you know, all that kind of stuff." But I did. I had people, "I'm gonna get in trouble so I can come to school suspension today, Mr. Bailey." I said, "You like it in there? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you didn't talk in school suspension,
right?
We did not have conversation.
Yeah,
you know, during breaks, because I would give them little breaks, we might have a conversation, but then." Because I was not going to have teachers come in and go, "What, are they having a party in here?"
That's right.
Because I'd had teachers say that before when they came in, like when we were having a break or whatever. Those kids aren't being punished. I said, "Well, come in here during class."
Right.
Okay. They ain't not allowed to talk to nobody.
Yeah, trade.
And if they do, they're gone. So it's here. And if they don't abide by what we're doing in here, then they go home. And that's all there is to it. So, but yeah, anyway, I'll talk to you later, Chip. We'll have you on more often, buddy, because you're a light in the world, man. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much for having me. I rock with you. Keep doing your thing, and I really appreciate the support. It makes my heart happy every time I get on with you.
Show me that book again.
I see that book on your shelf back there.
Yes, sir.
There it is. The Impact.
I can't wait to put the other one right next to it. Look at it.
Volume 2.
Now you see what's next to the one I have in the back there? Do you see?
God.
This is one of my prized possessions, right? No. I'm talking about this one right here.
Oh.
You know who this is?
Who is that?
Darryl Green.
Oh,
this is my Darryl Green.
Man.
The man. This is one of my prized possessions.
That's
my bobblehead.
Awesome.
I've had this since I was a kid. So I'm a teenager, and
now I'm gonna take you back for
this
right
is
quick.
The guy you need to have in your next book too.
So I'm gonna take you back. So I don't know if you know Darryl Green came from Kingsville, down here in Texas.
Yeah, I knew he's from Texas. But,
and so, as a rookie, the 2 cornerbacks that started at Kingsville were the 2 cornerbacks that went to the Redskins. So Darrell Green and Ray Waddy. Was the other cornerback. They were the 2 cornerbacks, and so I actually have coached with Ray Waddy.
Nice.
We were on the staff together. We coached together. So an amazing guy. But I wanted to share that with you. I figured you'd like that.
Yeah, and if he's anything, he's half. I just say if I'm half the man Darrell Green is.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is just unbelievable. I've had him on my radio show in the past, talking about the Darrell Green Foundation and what he does for after school events and kids in DC and stuff. He lives in Virginia, but he has a whole setup in DC for after school at-risk kids and stuff like that. And the guy's just a phenomenal man. And I gotta try and get hooked up with him so we can have him back on one of these shows. But
let's get it.
And if I do, I'm gonna pass Chip Baker on to him so we
can
get you hooked up because he's the best, man. Let me tell you, I love Darrell Green. Love him. That's why I've got him right next to Impact of Influence. Are you kidding me? In fact, when I bring the white book in, we're gonna put Darrell right between the 2 of them.
Come on, let's go.
Oof.
Let's go.
Right?
That's it. Well, thank you, brother. Have a good day and go get it.
Yes, sir. Go and get it. Go get it. Right? I want one of those hats too. That's a cool hat.
I got you.
All right.